What is up, MTG family? You're watching MTG Unlimited. I'm your host, Steven, and today we are doing a deck tech with one of my favorite decks to play now. I love the art in it, I love the flavor, and I hope you enjoy it too. We are going to be talking about rats. Yes, this is my rat deck, and my commander is none other than Chromox the Rat King. Now, what Chromox the Rat King is a 2 black and 1 other legendary creature, Phyrexian rat. So we have a little bit of a Phyrexian kind of theme that runs through the whole deck. Not through the whole deck, but it's, you know, kind of the back end of it, really. Toxic 1, all other rats you control have Toxic 1. So we're a toxic deck, kind of goes with the black theme. We have some other win cons, and I will show them to you as we go through. But we do try to poison people, and I did have a poison deck, a white, green, black deck. It was one of those precons that I upgraded from Phyrexia All Will Be One. I can't think of the commander's name right off. Scion of what's her face. Anyways, I actually never won and never poisoned anybody before until this deck, and this deck has won a few 4-player pods, and I've been able to poison a few people to death doing that with winning those. And it says, sorry for digressing a little bit. It says, when Chromox enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of rat cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. So you get to look at them. You can reveal any rats you want, put them in your hand, and put them on. So it has an enter the battlefield effect, which we're going to be able to kind of do a couple times with some cards I'll show you, but that's not our main thing. But it is a way to get rats in our hand. We don't that's not like really what we're trying to do. We're really trying to get all our rats toxic, but we will use that from time to time. And here's some of the cards that will do it. This is a protection card because people, once they start to get hit with toxic, they're going to try to take him out so they don't die to toxic. He is only 3 to cast, so if he dies, 2 or 3 times, we might have to pay 7 to get him back in, which I've had to do before, but 7's not too bad. If he dies 3 times, you're looking at 9. That starts to get a little expensive, and obviously 11 and up, it starts to get really expensive to get back in. But we have ways to put him in the graveyard and get him back out cheaper, and I'll show you that along the way as well. So this says supernatural stamina until end of turn. Target creature gets +2/+0, and when this creature dies, we return it to the battlefield. So if they kill it, we'll play this. We'll return it back. We'll get that ETB effect. This one is a similar thing. There's only 1 black instance, but this just gives them indestructible. So yeah. So we can either make him indestructible or we can bring him back. Those are the 2 protection cards, I call them, in the deck. We're gonna move on to our flyers. Our first flyer is a rat, Old Fitterfang. Basically, at the beginning of the Ed step, if a creature died this turn, we can create a food token, and then we can use that food token to either sacrifice it or a creature, and we can give him +2/+2 until end of turn. This is not so we can do this a couple times. So we could really pump this guy up and do some damage flying, but really, this deck doesn't have a lot of flying. I recently just put him in, so this is part of like our flying defense and able to attack flying. This is a little card that's a slightly off flavor, but this is the full art or the extended art foil from Eldraine. I just kind of love the art, and it is a flyer with haste. And this is we can get players to discard cards. This is Rankle, obviously, pretty well-known card. We can get players to discard cards, and which there is a card which I'll point out later that we do want to discard if we have in our hand, and we don't waste mana copying or casting it and trying to destroy it ourselves. We're trying to get this card in our graveyard, and you'll see why. Each player loses a life, draw a card, so this can draw us cards, and then obviously we can have each player sacrifice a creature. And we have ways to get creatures back in from the graveyard. So we're not too worried about sacrificing creatures, especially when you see what kind of creatures a lot of this deck really is. But he's also a flyer blocker for us. Obviously, the Ancient Brass Dragon. I love all the dragons from Baldur's Gate. This is the one where if it does damage, we roll a d20, and we can cast using that mana. So if we roll a 10, let's say, we'll just pick a middle number. If we roll 10, we get 10 mana to cast cards from anyone's graveyards. So we can steal people's creatures that we kill or get killed. We can get those creatures on our side, maybe more flyers to block or any of this really nasty creatures that people have. And obviously, since this is a toxic infect deck, we have the infect dragon himself, Skithiryx, the Blight Dragon. And obviously, we can give this guy haste and he can regenerate, and he is a 4/4 flying infect, which can just really kill people. All right, and then this is what we're talking about. We have a lot of the same rats. We have the Relentless Rack. Relentless Racks is the core of our deck. There is one other rat that people like to use. This is a 2 black and 1 other for a creature that says, for every other creature with the same name as Relentless Rats, it gets a +1/+1. So the more we have of these out, the bigger they get. And obviously with our commander, they would be toxic as well. This is the Time Spiral Remastered foil, retro foils. These were pretty expensive. I spent a lot of money on this deck. I did have some of the Secret Lair art ones, but they got really expensive. I only had 8 of them, and I wanted the deck to like be cohesive throughout. This is kind of a bling deck for me. A lot of the cards will be foils. There's only a few non-foils, and all the arts are either like the special art I used of Chromerix, or the full art foils, or just regular foils. And if I don't have foil for the cards, eventually at some point I will get there and have them all foiled. So it's gonna be all bling deck, and there's 18 of those Relentless Rats. All right, here we go with the other rats in this deck. We have Ashikote, the Shadow Swarm. This is one where if he attacks or blocks, all our rats get +X, where X is the number of rats we control. At the beginning of our end step, we may mill 4 cards, and if you do, we can return up to 2 rat creature cards from our graveyard to our hand. So like I said, we have a lot of recursion in this. It's black, it's kind of what goes on in black. And then we got a little bit of Ninjutsu action with Nishi, the Moon Sage's Scion. Did I say that? Okay. And it's got 1 black and 3 others for Ninjutsu. Obviously, we have an unblocked creature. We can Ninjutsu this out of our hand. And whenever this creature does damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, we may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, we can pay life rather than pay our own mana. So we can pay life, which, obviously is kind of cool. So if you don't have a lot of mana to spend, we can start casting people's creatures with life if that gets through. We have the Step and Complete Foil, Blight Belly Rat. This is a good card because we're going to try to proliferate. There's going to be a lot of proliferate in this deck. And when this card dies, we proliferate. So if we have poison counters on people, we can add poison counters. We do have 1 Planeswalker in this deck. We could add to that Planeswalker. So yeah, we want to proliferate. This is a really good card because if they don't block it, they get a toxic. If they do block it, we're going to proliferate on them anyways. This is a good card to came back and block too, because you can chump block, and then we're going to proliferate, give them a poison counter. Nuzumi Informant, a rat, 2 cost, 1/1. Each opponent discards a card. This is kind of a card. It is a rat, so it can become toxic with our commander, and it annoys people. Discards this. They have to discard a card. Originally, this deck had, the first time I made it, I had a discard theme where I had all these rats that made people discard cards. Hinda Torak had all this discard, but it just took too much away of what we were trying to do. And this is a way more focused version. We're really trying to get people toxic. We're trying to proliferate, and yeah, we're trying to poison people. So that's kind of a remnant from that. That's probably like the next card out if I do add another card, which we are looking to add. A card. I'm going to try to remember it. I'm, thinking about what I'm talking about now, and I forgot what card are we trying to. I'll update later. Maybe I can't think of it right now. We got Pack Rat, so this gets it's toughness and power from how many rats we have. That's a really cool art. This is the other commander that a lot of people use when they make their rat decks, Mauro Garner. All rats have fear, which obviously make it only able to be blocked by black or artifact creatures. And we can make a lot of rats with him by sacrificing a rat for how many rats we have on the battlefield. Pretty nasty card. We haven't really been able to get him out in a game yet. I've only played this deck 4 or 5 times, and so can't wait to get that guy up and running and out there killing people. We have Lord Skitter, the Sewer King. This guy makes a 1/1 rat creature token every turn on our combat, which is really good. And whenever a rat enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from opponent's graveyard. So we can start like exiling cards from people's graveyards if they, they want certain cards in their graveyards to recur and everything. Now we're getting into, that's the total number of rats, which is 25, I believe, because we have 18 of these and 25 rats. So 1/4 of the whole deck is rats. Well, plus the commander is 26. So just a little over 1/4 is rats. So we got a nice, good rat deck. And we have Piper of the Swarm. Obviously, this can create rat creature tokens, and then you can use those tokens, or we can sacrifice the other rats we have to gain control of target creature. This guy's like a really good card, and obviously it's on theme there. And then we have the Org Slumlord in the foil etch. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may create a 1/1 black rat creature token. All rats we control have Death Touch. So if we have the Death Touch going out, that makes people not want to block them. And if they do block them, it's kind of removal. And if they don't get blocked, they're going to get toxic. And obviously here we go with the Proliferate. We have Yawgmoth, Thrand, Physician. 2 black, discard a card and proliferate. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Protection from humans, kind of like little cool. This is the Time Spiraled. Can't have them in foil because those ones are really expensive. Time Spiraled retro frame bordered one, and pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on top of 1 target creature and draw a card. So it's got card draw there for us. This is the card I was talking about, Fear. This is the one that we want to, so if we have Rankle, we would discard this card into our graveyard, because if this card is in our graveyard, all of our creatures have Swamp Walk. Again, that's really powerful because if people control swamps, and we obviously have Yawgmoth's Tomb in this deck, where we're gonna make everybody's land a swamp, and we're gonna Swamp Walk them and toxic them and poison them to death. And then this was almost on the cutting block because it is off theme, but the Volfi Voidwalker from Modern Horizons 2, 2 black, just too good. It's got shadow, so it can't be blocked except by other creatures with shadow. It only can block creatures with shadow, but we're not worried about blocking with this guy. We're worried about attacking. If a card would be put into a opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it with a void counter on it, and then we can sacrifice this guy and take people's stuff and really just cause havoc on the board. This is a really good card, so good. And we're into our removal, so we just gotta go for the throat here. We only have a few removal in this deck. Like that's one that I need to get the foil for. That's obviously not an expensive card. And then we got a Terror in the foil. I love that artwork. Terror's been printed a bunch of times, but this artwork is just so cool. I mean, what else can you say about that? Destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Deadly Rollick, obviously we have our commander out, we can cast this for free, and this is an exile card, so if you have cards that have indestructible or hexproof, well, can't do hexproof, but indestructible or those kind of things, we can exile it instead of trying to destroy it. We just added this card. This was one of the ads. Feed the Swarm. Obviously, this is a destroy target creature or enchantment. This is the only way we can destroy enchantments. And the reason I had to add this one was someone dark steel mutation on my commander and kind of shut down my whole toxic thing. So this is the one card that we can do to deal with that. And then we have some tutoring in this deck, so we could get this card if we really needed it. And consuming corruption. Just pulled this from Modern Horizons 3. Just love the artwork. Sometimes I go for artwork and like flavor sometimes and over finding the best card, but this is also some life game. We can destroy target creature, we'll do X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and we can gain life from the number, and it's all based on the number of swamps, which we'll have a lot of swamps. So a little bit of life game there. Okay, we're gonna go through our instants. So a lot of sorceries, only a few instants. I love Imp's Mischief. This is like the poor man's black version of deflecting swat. We can redirect target. So again, someone's trying to target our commander. Boom, we play this. They're trying to destroy our commander. We can destroy their commander. So this is also another one of the instant protection spells. And then we have Blood Pact. Obviously, there's ones that are cheaper like Sign in Blood or Knight's Whisper, but those both target you. I like this. You pay an extra mana, but you can target another player. So if there's a player that like is down to 2 life or 1 life, and I know that's a rare scenario, but you can literally cast this and kill them off. That's why I like I'll pay that extra mana for that, just that pocket ability, that like add a pocket, like random here, draw 2 cards and take 2 life and they're dead. Kind of can't wait till I do that to somebody. That would be really awesome. Okay, let's go into our sorceries. So those are our removal sorceries, or removal in general. Yeah, or removal in general. And this are sorceries. A lot of sorceries in this deck. Baristas Outbreak. Each opponent gets a poison counter, and then each creature gets a -1/-1 until end of turn for each poison counter its controller has. Okay, this is like a one-sided board wipe. We get them up to, even 3 or 4 poison counters. We add this, they get a 5th. Every creature gets -5/-5. And then even if we attack, even the creatures that are surviving, it's going to be like a removal thing because their creature is probably going to die. Ours are going to live because our rats are going to be pumped up. Or if they don't block, they're going to get a bunch of toxic, and they already have, toxic from this. So I love that card. This is Unearth. This is a return target creature with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard. Our commander's 3 or less. All of our relentless rats. Our Devolthy Voidwalker. After we sacrifice it, we can come and steal another card. So I love this card. Plus, if we need to draw a card, we can cycle it out and draw a card. There's multiple uses. Kind of an underrated card, and obviously I love that artwork. We have one of our tutors, one of our 2 tutors, Imperial Seal. I have all the black tutors. I'm using them in other decks. I don't like to bounce around cards, so like the cards I put in my decks are there to stay. And this is the one. I love the artwork. It kind of goes with the whole theme of the deck. Sorcery Speed, Vampiric Tutor, basically. Awesome artwork. Down an Anchor. This is a -4/-4 for 2, and then we proliferate. Great card. Removal. Add poison counters to people. Okay, Echoing Return. This is perfect for our deck. Return target creature card and all other cards with the same name as that card from your graveyard to your hand. Obviously, we're going to return all these rats. We relentless rats if we need to. Calling of the Week. This is a old card, old art. Sacrifice a creature, add 4 mana. This is a perfect way to kind of like pump our mana pool really quick for either, that corruption card or another card that you're about to see. Grim Tutor, obviously a really good tutor. Pay 3, card directly into your hand, lose 3 life. This is the poor man's Demonic Tutor. Just costs 1 more life and 1 more mana, but basically the same thing. Love the artwork. This is what I was talking about for Exsanguinate. So, with that Calling of the Week, we also have a Dark Ritual right there. We could pump out mana and hit everybody for life, and we're going to gain that life. Really cool card. You can end the game if you have enough mana, really. And another one-sided board wipe in Kindred Dominance. Choose a creature type. We're obviously going to choose rats. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type, and then this could be a game ender too, or at least a kill a person, because if they're close on those poison counters, you can probably hit them with 3 or 4 creatures and finish the job. Unmarked Grave. So this is another one where we can get filth in the in the graveyard directly. So if we have this in our starting hand or we draw to it in the first couple turns, I definitely cast it right away, get filth in my graveyard. Or I could hold on to it for the right timing, because then you don't want people to like Bajuka Bog your graveyard or get rid of your graveyard somehow. So you could kind of wait on this, but just depends. Probably waiting might be good, but then sometimes you're just waiting, you miss your opportunity. So I kind of like to get in the graveyard. Okay, let's do... Every artifact in this deck is just really nasty and goes with the theme. We have Staff of Completion. This is the oil slick version. Love the artwork, love the feel, love the look of it. only 3 mana, and it has all these destroy target permanent you own. We can obviously destroy filth if we needed to. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color, so we can add mana. So it's a rock too. Proliferate, this is the big one. So on the first turn, we tap it, and it's all pay life too, so you don't even need a lot of mana on your field to start using this thing. Pay 4 life to draw a card if we need to, and then for 5 we can untap it and do it again. So near the end of the game, you could proliferate a couple times and just end the game. It's just a really good card for this deck. This is our other win con I was mentioning in the very beginning with Vaporeal Sword. This is a super nasty plus 2/0, give something death touch. Obviously, just this equipped, people are going to be less likely to block, you know, your creatures, so you can start getting those early poison counters on people, and then we can start proliferating. Or you pay 8, and if you get this through, they lose the game. This is a very nasty card there. Okay, Mirror Box. This basically amplifies our Relentless Rats. So now, for each one of the same name, they gain +2/+2, and then we can start really making these rats really big and toxic. Expedition map, we can search for a land. I'm going to name the land that we're going to use later that this is basically for. So this is another way to draw to that land, or we could tutor for it. Korma's Memorial, this is a game ender for me. I make all my rats flying. They get First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, and Protection from black and from red. A lot of people play black and red. This is basically make them unstoppable. Another way to really get that toxic through. Obviously, we have Jeweled Lotus. So I get this, I can cast my commander on turn 1 because he's only 3. He's all black. Crucible World, so I'll show you the land this is going to really work with. We can play lands from our graveyard. And there was those cards that, like that one rat that milled cards. So if we milled some lands, we could play those if we don't play a land that turn. Contagion Engine, this is obviously just proliferate and proliferate again. I won the game the other day with this card by being able to cast it, proliferate twice. The guy was at 8 poison and I ended up winning. It's a killer. Exoplanar Lens. I know people normally use this and they have all snow covered swamps, but I wanted the swamps that you're gonna see. So yeah, like I said, sometimes I make decisions where it's not best for the deck. It's gonna go, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. This is Thrumming Stone. Spells you cast have Ripple. So obviously with Relentless Rats having the same name, what Ripple is I class the Relentless Rats. I basically mill out 4 cards. If there's another Relentless Rat, I can cast that for free. And if we get the right thing, we can get a lot of them out on one turn. And then we could maybe give them all haste. We have enough mana and do the thing and really do a lot of damage on, make things go really fast. These are the both one-ofs, 1 enchantment, 1 planeswalker. We have Vraska, the Betrayal Sting. She's completed. For 0, I draw a card, lose 1 life, and proliferate. So she proliferates for free basically, for 1 life really, and we draw a card. Creature removal, we can turn someone's creature into a treasure artifact, or we could turn our own creature into a treasure artifact if we need more mana. And then we could, her ultimate is a little expensive, but it really can, if you're down to 1 player, that player has fewer than 9 poison counters, you get them to 9 poison counters, and then you can usually finish them all there with a proliferate card we have, or we just kill them, we just hit them with our rats. And this is Black Market Connections, if you don't know about this card. Basically, it is a value generator. We can make a treasure token, draw a card, and create a 3/2 color shapeshifter, which the shapeshifter is basically a rat. So that's going to affect our pack rat. That's going to give it, it's going to have toxic. It's, basically create a creature off of life, and we can just start running the board and making, start going wide on people. Okay, and then we're going to go into the lands. All these lands are really for the deck and they make perfect sense. Karn's Bastion, we got a 4 tap proliferate. This is what I was using to kill people with. Path of Ancestry, most of our creatures are rats, so we're gonna be able to do a lot of scrying. Here we go, we can return a creature card from our graveyard to our hand. In other words, and more recursion with that. Dead Marshes, this is the Lord of the Rings version of Yawgmoth's Tomb. Give everybody swamps. We have fear in our graveyard. Swamp Walk, poison them to death. This is the card that Crucible Worlds is used for. This is Lake of the Dead. This is a reserve card from Alliances. If you don't know about this land in a black deck, any really, 3-colored black deck, maybe not as powerful, but a 2-colored black deck, black red, black green, still super good. And obviously an all black deck is just crazy. When it comes into play, I have to sacrifice a swamp, or I have to sacrifice Bury Lake of the Dead, which is not really what you want to do. It taps for 1 black right away, or I can sacrifice a swamp and create 4 black. This is a way to pump out a lot of mana really quick. Basically, when I have this out, that's what the expedition map was for. I mentioned that this is what it's for. I get this land. I want this land on my battlefield every game. I sacrifice a lot of swamps. If I have Crucible Worlds, I play those. If not, I'm in mono black, so every land I draw is going to be a swamp. And if I have extra planar lands out, swamps tap for double, so I can really run everything with just a few swamps and this card on the battlefield, because I'll be basically casting whatever I want and doing whatever I need to do. Cavern of Souls, I'm naming rats. Bajuka Bog, this is to destroy other people if I'm playing against other black players. People using recursion, people trying to do funny things out of their graveyard. Boom, their graveyard's gone. This is a Subterranean Hanger. This is from Mercadian Mask. Some people don't like this type of thing because it's slow, but you get this out on turn 1 or turn 2. Like turn 1, you play this, maybe you're not going to play anything yet. A lot of my rats cost 3 or 2. Probably not going to play a lot on turn 1. I do not even have Soul Ring in this deck. As you've seen, we already went through the artifacts. This, you just keep tapping. I keep putting a counter on this, and then say we're mid-late game. I got 7, 8 of these. I got a Calling of the Week, or I have a Dark Ritual, and I have a Insanguinate. I can tap this and say I have 9 counters on this. I'm like hitting people for 15, each player for 15 life, and I'm gaining like 45 life. This can be a real killer. And then obviously in a poison deck, we want to make things unblockable. With the Vaporeal Sword, we have this on the field. We can make something unblockable. And if we have enough mana, if we have that 8 plus the 4, if we have 12 mana, someone's dead. These are my basics. I did the Oiled Slick Swamps from the completed bundle of Phyrexia All We Won. These were very expensive to get the 21 lands or whatever that's here. But it looks so cool on your board when you got these puppies, just all the same. Just beautiful, beautiful. If you haven't seen these are just, I've had people that, what are those? Like, those are sick. Like, this is awesome. This deck together, when you play it, it's beautiful, fun to play. Hopefully I didn't talk too quickly. I wanted to go through as much information as I could. We made it to almost 30 minutes. If you made it to the end, go ahead and leave me a slice of pizza in the comments. I love pizza, and my daughter loves pizza too. Thank you for listening. This is my rat deck. This is MTG Unlimited. Thank you for watching. Bye. Remember to like and subscribe.